Might be patchouli or something? Oh no! It's haunted too. Cool. I have not touched this candle. It just came down. So yeah, haunted as well. Perfect. I don't like the cut of your jib, sir. Alrighty, more travel stories. This is experimental, by the way. You have to let me know if you like it or if you don't like it as well, in which case you're probably not here. So I'm talking to nobody. All I can say is it is something I enjoy talking about, not as much as doing it, but still. So figured I'd tell you about the most memorable places I've stayed so far. And by that I mean not places I've visited, but like accommodation, overnight stays. And this is not going to be in order of awesomeness, but simply in chronological order. The first one was during a trip to Austria. I can't remember the name of the place, Castle something. I'll put it on screen. There were several different rooms you could pick from. This was in a tower and super awesome atmosphere there. I mean, the entire place was great. It was a reconstructed castle. They actually told us about the history of this place. Now, I don't fully remember because it's been a few years, but basically one of those stories where someone acquired an old castle and went through some trouble in trying to maintain and renovate it because these things are very expensive. And then eventually it was turned into kind of part museum, part accommodations. This was like a little restaurant or cafe in there with a cute cat. Several cats, actually. We got a tour, and there was plenty to see. They also have a number of historical arms and armor. From what I remember, most of it Victorian reproductions, but also a few older originals. And very interesting to see the architecture, of course, with old buildings like that is always fascinating. Nice surrounding areas too. They have wedding venues as well, some statues, and atrocious armor that is absolutely not historically accurate whatsoever. So the tower stay was awesome, especially at night with candlelight. This was definitely the most atmospheric place we've ever stayed. Although there is one that comes close, which we'll get to later. There was also the option to rent the downstairs dungeon for certain spicy couple activities, which we didn't go for. To each their own, not gonna judge, but it's not my thing, this sort of play. The bed was comfortable too. Overall, a great stay. Not just interesting and unique, but also cozy. The only weird thing was the bathroom was just a wooden cabinet. I mean, not exactly luxury, but it worked. We only stayed there for one night. I would have liked to stay longer, but it was a little pricier than I like, even though it seemed reasonable for how gorgeous the place is and how much you get. So yeah, I find buzzwords like unforgettable are way overused, but this is literally what that was for me. Even with my horrible memory, I won't forget it. The next one is like the perfect goth accommodation. It was in Doncaster, UK, and unfortunately, the listing on Airbnb is deleted and I can't find it anymore. I wonder if that's not a thing anymore, which would be a real shame because it was amazing. It was on a cemetery in a small church building converted into 2 units separate across from each other. This is the coolest Airbnb ever. Surrounded by a cemetery. There's a hearse parked right here. And this is the Airbnb. This is the actual unit. This is ridiculously cool. Coffin-shaped mirror. Also with goth-themed decorations inside. If you're into this kind of stuff, dark aesthetic, it was thematically awesome. Very comfortable too, like modern and quiet as you can imagine, even though it was in Doncaster itself. You can imagine cemeteries tend to be rather quiet. So very cozy. I wish I had booked more than one night, but we were just passing through, just stopping there for one night on the way. But memorable to say the least. It was badass. There was even a hearse parked in front of it. Have we been anything this cool? I don't think we have. That's perfection right there. Easily the best Airbnb ever. Definitely the coolest. And then sticking with the gothy aesthetic, we also stayed at the Dracula rooms in Whitby. Now, you could say a little bit tacky in a way because they were leaning heavily into the Bram Stoker's Dracula theme, of course, and it was October as well. I liked it. Like when it comes to stuff like this, there is no such thing as tacky for me. Just bring it on with the Halloween decorations and cool wallpaper. Overall, nice place. I mean, there was only 2 rooms. There was nothing special about it in terms of facilities or whatever, but it was just fine. It was perfectly comfortable, and really the theme is what made it. And it was also very appropriate weather. It was raining, it was gloomy. All day, big surprise, right? I know. And there was even something spooky happening. Okay, it's rare that I check into any kind of stay and immediately go, hell yeah. I picked it for a reason, but it's even cooler than I thought. It's exactly my aesthetic. Even down to the wall color. And all this. It's just... Every day is Halloween in here. I love it. Actual Bram Stoker's Dracula. Beautiful. Gothic fantasies. Yes. All of that. Yes. Sure love that. Plush bat. Oh yes, that is exactly what I wanted. Hell yeah. And look at all this cool stuff. The smell in here. I'm not sure what it is. Might be patchouli or something. Oh no, it's haunted too. Cool. I have not touched this candle. It just came down. So yeah, haunted as well. Perfect. Plush raven. Skull. So much cool stuff. Everything is cool in here. That lamp. Oh yeah. That cabinet. Okay, it just keeps going, huh? Okay. Is there a particular way to put this? Okay, well, you stay. I love the detail. Why so many mirrors, though? Isn't that counterintuitive? Too many mirrors. Oh, yes. I'm glad that we're spending more than one night here. In fact, I think we should have spent 3. Anyway. Love that one, and we also enjoyed Whitby overall. If you're interested, I can tell you more about that. Speaking of which, like I said, if you like this kind of stuff, if you want to listen to more travel stories and whatnot, do let me know. As always, my main reason for making a video is because I want to, but I do have to take interest into account. If there isn't enough engagement, then I have to prioritize other things. So yeah, interact with the video, thumb it up or down. If you didn't like it, let me know. If you don't want to see this kind of stuff, whatever, just, yeah, do something, basically, so I know that it's worthwhile. On our way back down from Whitby to London, we stayed at Harington Manor in Dunstable. And that one has so much character. It's a very old building. If I remember correctly, it was originally from Tudor times, and the floors are still original. You can tell they're quite creaky. I called that castle stay in Austria the most atmospheric, but when I think about Harington Manor, man, that's a close second. I might even rank it higher, because if I've ever been to a place that genuinely had the feel of a haunted house, it would be this, including creepy paintings. There was something, I don't know if it comes through in the pictures I took, but it's the kind of old painting that seems to really stare at you, that seems to follow you with its eyes. There was one, it was like a young lady. I don't know what the story is. I don't know who this is, but she looks like she's on the verge of death. Extremely ghostly pale, and there was something about her eyes that made it look as if she was terminally ill. And you could easily imagine that her ghost might come back through that painting. And then there was this older, grumpy-looking gentleman who had this really judgmental look on his face. And I kind of questioned the decision to put up this painting in that room, looking right at the bed, where couples might end up staying and, do things under the judgmental look of this gentleman. Anyway, at night it was beautifully creepy. And I mean that in a good way. Again, atmospheric. I say the word a lot, but I mean it. It really was. If anyone finds this camera with no owner, it's because we checked into a haunted hotel. October-worthy experience. This has got to be haunted as fuck. I mean, what else if not this? Yeah, I mean, there's already... I'm trying to step into the bathroom and there's already a spider in my face. Yeah. The bathtub is wood framed. Hopefully, the bed is comfortable if we don't get eaten by spiders in the middle of the night. Okay, that's anachronistic though. I don't like the cut of your jib, sir. I can't believe how cheap it is for how fancy. This looks like a super expensive luxury suite, but no, it's among the cheaper ones we found here. Why is that though? And I said, so much character, you could feel the history of that place. And the owner was also really nice. We had a conversation over breakfast, which was quite interesting. Oh, and by the way, the bed, super comfortable. So that was a nice restful stay. And yeah, I would absolutely go back there if we were ever in the area again. October was definitely the perfect time for this as well, for the spooky vibes. And finally, a cottage in Vale of Avoca, if I pronounce that correctly, in Ireland, which sounds like a place in, I don't know, Elden Ring or something. Definitely has a fantasy vibe. It wasn't themed. It wasn't really super unique in that sense compared to the others, at least. But it was extremely peaceful and beautiful. It was right next to a wheat field, or wait, do they say corn in Ireland as well? I think in the UK they call it corn, whereas in Canada and the US we call corn what you would call maize. Anyway, grain, a grain field. I remember standing there mesmerized by the waves the wind made on the grain. That was such a beautiful moment. I don't really know how to explain it because on the outside, it's nothing spectacular, but it was just a remarkably serene, beautiful scenery. Also, dead quiet, super nice, secluded area. I actually felt kind of melancholic the next morning when we left. I wish we could have stayed longer. But either way, so those are the ones that I immediately think of in terms of beautiful places. We stayed overnight. There were, plenty of other accommodations that were nice or like perfectly good or whatever, but nothing that can compete directly with these. There were many other amazing places that we visited, not accommodation, but just other unique places and remarkable that I can very easily talk about. So let me know if you want to listen to that. And if you can, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Thanks for watching, folks.